One of the many, many reasons that I love Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and I should say, like, that's just my thing. I just love Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. You could substitute that with other stuff, but let me make the case here for Jiu Jitsu. Um, One of the many reasons I love it is how it builds such a high degree of mental toughness and humility. And that can sound like just words, right? It can sound like a marketing brochure for a Jiu Jitsu gym. But let me give an example of why I think that's so real and impactful for me. So a couple months ago, I hurt my neck, and I couldn't train for a while. I was probably out for like six or 8 weeks where I couldn't really train, couldn't really do much, in terms of going to working out or cardio in general. I tried to do a little bit, but couldn't really for a while. But eventually it healed, as things do, and I got back to going to the gym and back going to jujitsu. And before I got hurt, I was kind of at a pretty good level. I was going consistently, 4 times a week at least, good shape, running on my off days, all that stuff, feeling good, really learning a lot. And I felt good when I was training, right? And in jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of time you spend what we call rolling with people. So you're actually live sparring, in effect, grappling with people. And there was a level that I had reached where I knew I had a certain competency. There was a certain confidence that came with that. There was a certain satisfaction when I would roll with certain people that I knew maybe I could do certain things with, or they couldn't do certain things to me, and that feels good. But then you get hurt and you miss an extended period of time and you come back, and now your ego gets tested because now you're not at that same level you were before. You don't have that same cardio. You don't have the same competency. You're rusty. You're still healing from the injury a bit, so you're limited in some of the things you can do. But that sparring, that rolling, that grappling is still the same, right? You're still out there fighting another person. And now you're forced to face it. You're forced to face a reality where you can't do the things you had been doing previously. You're not as good as you were previously. There's people that you felt like in the past, ooh, they could never do this to me, or I could always do this to them, and now it's flipped. And now they're doing things to you that you don't think they should be able to do. And now you got a decision to make, right? Because, at least for me, the decision isn't like, does that feel good or does that feel bad? It feels bad. That feels shitty. Maybe it's my ego, maybe I haven't eliminated it enough, but as that's happening, as I'm thinking about it after the fact, I can't help but think like, fuck, I hate that. I don't like feeling that way. I want to feel like I did. I want to feel like I'm capable. I want to feel stronger. I want to feel better. But it's just not the reality, right? Such is life. It's just not the reality in this moment. And it's exposed so clearly, so directly in jiu-jitsu, right? There's no lie you can tell yourself. Right? As you're getting smothered by somebody and they're kind of having their way with you, you can't make up a story that's like, I'm letting them do that, or they just got lucky, or no, no, no. You're getting beat. You're not as good as that person. You're not as good as you used to be. You're not as good as you want to be. So the decision becomes, what are you going to do about it? That's the only decision, right? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to wallow? Are you going to cry about it? Are you going to quit the gym? Are you going to stop going because you don't like that feeling? Are you going to make excuses, right? Or are you going to do something about it? Are you going to say, hey, I don't like this feeling. I want to feel better. So time to figure it out. And that, again, like, it's words, right? I can imagine some people listen to this and they think like, oh yeah. So working out, right? Challenging yourself, eliminating your ego. I get all these concepts, and that's fair. But there's something in actually experiencing it at a deep level that is so profound and impactful. Being forced to face that thing, that true discomfort of like, shit, man, I hate this feeling of not being as good as I thought I was or I want to be, and having to deal with that, having to swim in that discomfort, having to face it, and then having to do the hard work to do something about it, right? I guess I got to start going to the gym more. I guess I got to start running more. I guess I got to start figuring this out. And all through that, it continues to feel shitty as I go to the gym more, because that's the only way through it, right? You got to do more of the thing that makes you feel super uncomfortable. That concept, that process is so unbelievably valuable to understand that that's what life is. And that if I want something to be different, if I want something to be better, I got to pay the price. I got to go through the fire, whatever analogy you want to use. And nowhere for me is that more clear than when it comes to jujitsu or any form of working out or other things that it might be for people. But for me, it's jujitsu. And that realization, because I can literally remember coming home one day, right after a morning class, and feeling like shit, angry, mad, a little short with my son, pissed off. And that kind of lingered for a while. And then it kind of dawned on me like, all right, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And listen, I'm still swimming through it. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to get to that point of getting better. But that ability to do that, that acceptance of that's what this is, it allows us to get to the places we want to get to. It allows us to get to better outcomes. But it doesn't happen by magic. And by that, I don't mean like getting better doesn't happen by magic. Obviously, it takes hard work. But the ability to do that hard work, the ability to do that hard thing, the ability to overcome your ego or that discomfort and that feeling of this fucking sucks, that doesn't happen by magic. That happens by you facing it head on and being like, it's what it is, right? It's what it is. There's a decision to be made here. Am I okay with it being like this and running from it and hiding from it and just telling myself a story? Or do I want to face it and do something about it?